Check 1 2. Hello. Check 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 check. Check 1 2. Hello. Hey hey hey. Hey hey hey. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Check 1 2.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Can I be heard? Everybody hear? Can everybody hear me? Okay. Welcome to the DC New 52 panel. My name is Larry Ganem. I'm from DC Comics, and we're going to have a lot of fun this afternoon. Who out there is reading the New 52? Good, because if you weren't, we wouldn't have a lot to talk about. Let's bring up the crew here. First up, one of my partners in crime, one of the DCU editors, Mr. Matt Idelson. Next up, you know him as the writer of The Flash, but he's also going to be the co-writer of Detective Comics, and we'll talk about that a little later, Mr. Brian Buccellato. Please welcome the writer of Catwoman, Miss Ann Nocenti. The artist of what is it? Lanterns Rosa, who doesn't speak a lot of English, but please, a very warm welcome for Mr. Alessandro Vitti. And the writer of Red Lanterns and Superman, Wonder Woman, and Swamp Thing, and probably like 5 or 6 other books that I'm forgetting at the moment, Mr. Charles Soule. I'm missing one person. Okay, and the writer of Green Arrow and the upcoming Justice League Unlimited, Mr. Jeff Lemire. And the writer of Batman, Mr. Scott Snyder. Okay. So, the New 52. Actually, before we start in on the New 52, I just want to mention that it is, well, tomorrow, March 30th, will be the exact 75th anniversary of Batman's first appearance in comics.
What time?
Detective 27 came out on March 30th, 1939. And, you know, we recently found a few copies in the office, and we're giving them away at the booth.
Oh, yeah.
It's a first come, first served thing. For the year, to celebrate the Diamond anniversary, we'll be doing a lot of great Batman stuff, most of it involving Scott. But let me see, Warner Brothers has a few things going on as well. They've got a couple of animated films, The Son of Batman and Assault on Arkham. Those are coming out this year, animated films. We're also getting who's a fan of the Batman television series with Adam West? That is going to be on DVD and Blu-ray this year for the first time ever. Also, on July 23rd, we're calling it Batman Day. It's going to be, there are going to be celebrations in comic shops and libraries all over the country. So July 23rd will be Batman Day. That's a Wednesday, okay? You want to say the thing now? Every day is Batman.
Oh, I told him yesterday when he said that. I said, every day is Batman Day, Larry.
Okay, so Batman 75. That's the big thing for the year. So back into the new 52. We're going to start off. Jeff.
Yes.
Sorry, I yelled. Future's End. This is our free comic book day giveaway this year, and it leads into the weekly series Future's End. You want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, the Future's End, like Larry said, it starts on free comic book day. So the first issue is the 0 issue is free, at all comic shops all over, and it's written by Brian Azzarello, Keith Giffen, Dan Jurgens, and myself. And then the following week, it just begins, week 1, and it's a year-long exploration of the DC Universe 5 years into the future. So everything you're familiar with is different. Some heroes are missing, some are drastically changed. The landscape of the DC Universe has been completely altered by one big cataclysmic event. There's a bit of mystery surrounding it as the series starts of exactly what happened, and we'll obviously be exploring that. To start the series, it's sort of an eclectic mix of characters like Frankenstein, Grifter, Firestorm. Some of the lesser-known DC characters are our entry point into the big story, and as it unfolds, it sort of expands and spreads out to encompass the entire, DC universe. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, everyone will have a major role in it. And also, it's significant in that the Batman Beyond character will be one of the main cast and his first in-continuity appearance in the DC universe.
Terry McGinnis?
Terry McGinnis, yes.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I got the cover of.
Wow, you're really grilling me there,
1.
Charles. Got anything else?
Yeah, what are those circle things on their heads
Circles.
about?
They're circles on
Circles.
heads.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like circles.
Yeah. This is Ryan Sook is doing all the covers for the whole series, and this is a really amazing cinematic kind of cover he did for the first issue. He's terrific, and he's sat in on all the writer meetings actually. So as we're coming up with concepts and ideas, he's doing sketches and revamping character designs for the 5 year later incarnations, and that feeds back into our storytelling. So that's been a pretty cool collaborative thing between the writers and him.
Okay, and the first issue comes out, or the 0 issue comes out on Free Comic Book Day.
That's right. Yeah.
And the first issue, according to that slide, comes out May 7th. Okay, and that's a weekly.
It's a weekly comic. Yep.
Running the whole year.
We should probably start working on it soon.
Matt, as an editor, how huge a thing is a weekly comic book?
It's about 3 times as much work as a monthly book.
Okay, good to know.
Actually, technically, it's 4.
4.
Yeah.
It's about. It's comics. I don't do math.
Okay, well, if because one weekly was not enough, starting next month, April 9th, we begin the Batman weekly called Batman Eternal. And Scott, you're the pilot of this one, right?
Well, James Tynan and me, the two of us sort of came up with a big storyline. What happened was DC approached us and said they were thinking about doing a weekly, and James and I thought about it and decided the only way it would make sense for us to try it is if we had a story that would be big enough and bombastic enough to actually make it something that couldn't be done in a monthly comic for us in the Bat world. So this comic is sort of one gigantic story that kind of clicks forward in different arcs with all your favorite bad guys, and it kind of changes the entire status quo of the Gotham power structure and all of your villains. So you've already seen hints of it in Batman, where Selina Kyle is now the new crime boss, and Gotham's under martial law, and all kinds of big changes coming in. So it's a lot of fun. The guys working on it, Ray Fawkes, Tim Seeley, Kyle Higgins, John Lehman, and James, they're just doing a killer job, and we're all good friends on it, so we're having a blast. And it's a series where you can go for sort of 2 things, where you can find a lot of characters that we don't have room to explore that we love in the main book. So you get everybody from like the ten-eyed man, literally, to like new characters, like the person that wrote the crime book on the Joker and now is being stalked, he thinks, by the Joker. So it's sort of a whole world of Gotham becoming experiential, where you get to see what it's like to live in the city. On the other hand, because it's such a huge vaulted plot, you get some of the most kind of earth-shaking events that will change Gotham's continuity, and you'll see that reflected in all the other books. So you'll see what happens in Eternal become the continuity that I'm using in Batman once we're back from 0 year, and similarly with a lot of the other Bat books.
Well, we got a few interior pages of it. This is the first artwork for the first arc is Jason Fabok.
Jay Fabok, yeah, he's doing a great job too. He's He's got he's doing the first three, and he's really upped his game, man. I mean, I always loved his stuff, but I think this is some of his best, where we really wanted to give the series this kind of epic feel, so it actually looks a lot different than Batman does, just in terms of the structure of the stories. There's a lot of intercutting. There's a lot of sort of quick scenes from all over the city, all with this kind of cumulative, propulsive feel about something huge and terrible coming to Gotham all the time. And in the very first issue, you'll get a tease of it. Something really big, sort of a crime of the century sort of event, which is going to happen in the first issue and change the entire structure of Gotham's sort of Gotham's police force and everything like that. So it's going to be a very changed city as of issue 1. And again, Jay's just doing a terrific job, and Dustin does the next part, and he's great too. Dustin Gwynn.
I was hanging out with Ray Fawkes this morning, and he showed me some of the designs that Jay had done for one of the returning villains in it. They were really super cool. I wish I could tell you who it was, but I guess I can't. You'll find out.
You can't. You know, speaking of something huge and terrible coming to Gotham City, the new writers, the new art team and script team for Detective Comics coming out issue 30. Brian, you want to tell us a little bit about what you and Francis are doing with Detective?
We're going to have Batman do some detecting, first and foremost. It's kind of a stupid half-assed joke, but really, we're going to tell our stories our first story revolves around a murder, and so Batman and Harvey Bullock, we're sort of going to be in a race to solve this crime that's personal for both of them. So it's not going to be huge and bombastic in the way that Batman Eternal is. It's going to be more of a smaller story, small and bombastic, but slightly bombastic story involving the murder and a bunch of different new characters and a couple old ones that you may never remember, like the Squid or what was the other guy we used? We had the Squid and the Kidney. No, that may be the only.
Well, you know, once you have the Squid, anything after that is anticlimactic.
We have one other guy. I can't remember his name. We also have a biker gang that we're bringing into Gotham, so that's going to be a new sort of crime character. So that's what we got going on.
And the artwork's by Francis Manipul. We got a couple of examples there. Francis is doing excellent work.
That's Batman. And I think there's a guy in there somewhere. No, the biker gang's not in that picture. Is there another page?
No, that's all I got, Booch. I
Thanks.
figured I confused you enough. Well, now staying with Batman a little longer. Who out there is reading Zero Year? We're getting into issue 30 now. Issue 30 comes out April 9th. So Scott, bring us up to date and what we can expect on...
Yeah, well...
Sumo. That was the character. I just remembered. Sorry.
So, Sumo and the Squid.
Sumo and the Squid, yes.
It's going to be a new ongoing starting fairly soon, right?
Yes, Wednesday.
Sumo and the Squid.
It's a weekly.
Yes. Yeah.
This part of Zero Year, and by the way, thank you guys. I said it yesterday, but it really means a lot to us that you guys have been so supportive of this story. It was really terrifying to take on Batman's origin and try and modernize it when, you know, year one, and that story means so much to all of us on the team. This part of it is really the reward, I think, for letting us do all of that stuff and redo, you know, Crime Alley and the Bat and all the stuff that kind of that sets the origin apart and makes it very personal to us. This part is sort of the huge, over-the-top, zany battle for the fate of the city with the Riddler. So the Riddler's been like lurking in the background of the story for a long time, and here he sort of, not to give too many spoilers, but at the end of the last issue of 29, he essentially disseminates Poison Ivy's early research in this big superstorm and blows all the retaining walls in Gotham out so that the city floods. And because he had access to the arsenals of Wayne Industries and Powers, he basically turns the city into this overgrown, deadly playground for himself. So it looks almost like The Last of Us or I Am Legend. You can see Gordon is actually... Greg gave him a beard, and now he never wants to take it off. He's like, I'm never shaving that goddamn beard. And I was like, you don't have to, man. I love the beard, you know. But he's like, Greg is very protective of that beard. So anyway, but the city is just overgrown and flooded. I think, you know, hopefully it was something that we really wanted to do from the start, where the Riddler's philosophy also in this part is meant to sort of be like all the other parts of Zero Year, indicative of kind of things that we're frightened of today. So his whole point, and the way we're trying to run him, is to be someone who says, look, we're just these kind of pink, squirming, hairless creatures with really no means of survival. You know, we should just be kind of a snack along the evolutionary food chain, humans. But instead, we use our minds to outthink our own demise. It's our only defense. It's our only weapon. And he's like, so whenever, you know, when it gets cold, we invent mittens. When it, you know, we face a plague, we invent penicillin and so on. And so he's like, now we're facing the end of times. He's like, we got economies, global economies running on fumes. You got climate change, terrorism, superstorms, all of this stuff. And he's like, so why don't I just take Gotham and I'll speed all that up and make it a perfect riddle for you and spin it into the future of what it'll probably look like in 20 years. So here it is, overgrown, terrorized, you know, no resources, all of that. So what he sees is, he says, now it's the one rule in the city. He's like, now it's time to get smart or die. And he comes on this big billboard in the equivalent of Times Square every day, and there's a coliseum he's kind of made around it. And he's like, if anyone can ask me a riddle I can't answer, you can have the city back. So it's this huge, fun part of the story. It really is kind of the icing on the cake. This is the part we've been dying to get to from the beginning, where it's really our thank you to you guys for letting us go back and redo the origin. This is the huge, fun, over-the-top, wild part of the story, and you know, I'm very, very excited about it. And who doesn't love like post-apocalyptic Batman, right? So there's Bruce Wayne leaving. He's in Crime Alley, and Alfred says to him, "You've gone up against the Riddler twice, and you failed." He's like, "How badly does Batman need to be a symbol of failure before you give up?" He's like, "You're teaching Gotham how to fail." So he's like, you know, get out before the Riddler beats you again. And so this is actually Bruce leaving Gotham.
Okay, so staying with, that's issue 30, and it comes out April 9th.
Yeah.
With artwork, obviously, by the great Greg Capullo. Staying with the Batman family a little longer. Anne,
Yes.
tell us about Catwoman. Is she still the best thief in the world?
Yes. Well, she's been expanding her turf. So we did the Penguin Gang War, where she started to take over more of Gotham. Then she went down into the underground, and what she learned is that she doesn't have powers. And when she was up against Dr. Phosphorus and the Warhogs and Joker's daughter, she basically she played them off each other, so that she came out the winner, because she's developing her crime skills. And now what we're headed into now is the race of thieves, where an old character that I don't know if any of you remember, called Roulette, steps forward as the greatest thief in the world and challenges all the thieves in Gotham and around the world to prove that they're the best. And so she comes up against Mirror Master, some rogues, Mirror Master Glider, and she realizes she's completely outpowered. So again, she starts finding out that knowledge is power, and how she's going to play everybody off each other. Whether or not it works or not, we don't know yet. But she's basically, it's like a long con. You know, there's a lot of little short cons, and then there's a long con in the race of thieves.
That's a long con.
A long con.
So that's issue 30. It starts in issue 30?
Issue 30, 32, 34. It's a 4-issue arc, yeah.
Okay. And I've got the cover for issue 31 up there, which comes out in May. So she's going to run up against the rogues.
Going to run up against the rogues, yeah, because everybody's like, you know, no, I'm the greatest thief in the world, you know. I'm the greatest outlaw.
That's why we sat you next to Brian, so you guys could talk about
Rogues
rogues.
are better.
I already got his wallet in my pocket.
You know what? The joke's on you. I have no money.
Damn.
Okay, I got one more thing about the Batman family, and we want to talk a little bit about Batgirl. And the only person who can talk to us about Batgirl is the one and only Miss Gail Simone. Gail, you want to come up?
Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Now conventions, the women's restrooms are full of long lines, which is awesome, but now I'm late.
That's the long con. So we've got up there the issue that's on sale now. That's Batgirl number 29, where she and Strix fight Silver. How much fun was this to do?
Oh my gosh.
I got some interior pages too.
Strix is one of my favorite new characters. that was created in the New 52 that came out of the Court of Owls. So being able to write her again was just a blast. And we have a couple really good scenes that I'm really proud of in there. And Silver is bringing trouble to Gotham. He suffers from some delusions where he thinks that everyone in Gotham is a vampire, and he's a vampire killer. So they are in trouble, in a lot of trouble.
There's some pretty brutal fighting in this one. You'd think Batgirl and Strix could handle pretty much anything, but Silver seems to give them a run for the money.
Yes, they are being challenged for sure.
And artwork on this is by Fernando Pasco.
Yes, and Alex Garner does the covers, and it's inked by Jonathan Glippian and colored by Blonde, and it's one of the best art teams I've worked with. I'm just so proud of every panel, pretty much, in this book with this art team.
So after this, you got another adventure or two for Batgirl?
I do. Once we get to like issue 32, 33, and 34, even if you haven't been reading Batgirl, I think you might want to get those because this is stuff that I've been asking for since the New 52 started. It's happening in those 3 issues. So I can't really give away anything, unfortunately, but it's very, very exciting. So 3 years of asking, it's finally happening.
You can't say anything?
I can't.
Not even a name?
I don't think I should. Batgirl's involved in there somewhere, and some other characters.
Okay, so that starts with when? Issue 32?
32, yeah.
Issue 32.
It's
okay.
a 3-issue arc that's I'm really excited about. It's
and she
amazing.
can't say the name.
No, I don't think they want me to yet, but you guys want to see it.
Okay, Charles.
Yes.
In issue 5, or no, issue 6 of Superman Wonder Woman.
Yes.
You hit them with a nuclear bomb.
I sure did. I sure did.
Do you like these characters?
I like them, but I also want to have them like struggle a little bit, and it doesn't get much bigger than a nuclear bomb.
Well, now this is the cover of issue 7.
Yeah, they're looking good, huh? Yeah, that's a handsome fella, Superman.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here.
Right. So, as Larry spoiled, in issue 6, they were hit by a nuclear bomb, which they weren't hit by it. They actually set off a nuclear explosion to save the world. Wonder Woman's sword can split an atom, right? And Superman can see atoms, and like they were in this situation where like, basically he's like, I can see it if you'll hold the sword. So they held hands, and the sword came down, and the explosion happened. And before it went, he's like, I love you, and she's like, yeah, of course you do. And it was a fun moment. And so this picks up directly after that. When they are in the irradiated crater left from them saving the day, and they have to kind of survive and get out of that in cool superheroic fashion. And then it's about them. We sort of flash forward to so the nuclear explosion was kind of a metaphor for a big crisis point in their relationship, and so literal and figurative and all that good writerly stuff. And so they kind of take a break after that. They're like, all right, let's think about this for a little while. And so when we do 2 things in this issue. One of them is dealing with that whole the fallout of the nuclear explosion, and then we sort of pick up from there, and then it's sort of what's the next chapter going to be about. And the next chapter in Superman Wonder Woman is going to be all about change, because when you have a relationship, the first part everything's like hunky dory, and you're like, oh my God, I love everything about this person, but then over time you're like, well, maybe we'll see how things go. And so they're in that second phase, and that starts here, and it's. It's also got all of the huge action-adventure stuff that you now know that Superman Wonder Woman is always going to have. It's an epic story. It's going to stay epic. And it's got really cool stuff. It's beautiful work. Tony Daniel and Paulo Sequeira are doing, unbelievable work on the series. It's great.
So that's issue 7. It comes out April 9th. There's the variant cover where they're looking a little better.
Yes. So, spoiler, they didn't actually die. Yeah, spoiler.
There's one of the interior pages.
Yeah. Oh, who's that? That guy looks scary. That is Doomsday. The next big storyline, which I'm sure some of you maybe heard about in the Superman books, that's going to start, around my issue 8, which I think hits in May, I believe.
May, yeah.
Yeah. So it starts with a big. It's called Doomed, and it starts with a big one-shot that's written by me, Greg Pak, and Scott Lobdell. That reintroduces Doomsday to the universe, the DC New 52 universe, in a big kind of dramatic fashion, and then spiraling through the rest of the Superman books over the summer is a huge multi-part event that we've been planning since last October, with lots of cool twists and reversals. It's one of those, like, you know, we've all read these crossover events, and we've all read enough of them at this point that we kind of know where they're going to go, you know, like everything's going to work out and so on and so forth. And what we really wanted to do with this event was be very aware that we've all read a lot of these events and try to build in twists and turns that you won't see coming, and so the story changes and reverses upon itself at multiple points. So it's like you're getting, you know, several different stories in one, all of which would be compelling enough to build a crossover on their own, and it just sort of amps up and amps and up till by the end it's, you know, it's everything. It's amazing.
That's Superman Doomed.
Yes, Superman
Okay.
Doomed.
Well, that's one big Superman event. The other Superman event that you guys probably know about, Superman Unchained. Scott's working with this young and upcoming writer, or young and upcoming artist, Jim Lee, who's working his way through some stuff. Scott, this is the cover of issue 6. It's on sale now. I got some interior pages too. You want to tell us how Superman Unchained's going?
Yeah, I mean, it's a blast to get to work with Jim. I still geek out whenever he calls. I'm always like, you know, I see it, it says Jim Lee on the phone. I'm like, it's Jim Lee, you know, and then I'm like, no, that's your artist. That's your artist. You know what I mean? You guys are partners. Then I answer the phone. I'm like, Jim Lee. It's very hard not to get totally geeked out about. Yeah, so we're sort of right at the beginning of the big climax of the whole story right now. If you haven't picked it up, basically Superman discovers that the American government has had its own Superman for a very long time, a character called Wraith, who has been sort of the ghost hand in history, in military history for them for a long time, and he has powers that are equal to, or really that exceed Superman's own abilities. He has some powers that he says Superman will eventually learn how to use himself, but doesn't know how to yet. And this is the part where they really start to come to blows. Next issue, it's a total spoiler, but next issue 7 is this huge throwdown between Wraith. He goes to kill Batman, because in the last issue, in 6, Batman. It's one of my favorite moments, Batman moments that I've gotten to write, where Superman is about to get his ass kicked by Wraith because the guy's stronger than Superman. He's beating on him, and all of a sudden, Superman holds up this ring, and it's like the equivalent of a kryptonite ring, but it's based on Wraith's power signature. So he goes all weak, and he's like, "How did you get that?" And Superman's like, "It's nice to have paranoid friends." Then you just see Batman whistling in his cave, just being like, "Whoop, whoop, 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 whoop."
That's a good moment.
And I was like, and Jim actually drew a little musical note. So he's like, I was like, what is he whistling? You know what I mean? I really want to know. And Jim was like,
He's whistling Bat Dance by Prince.
No, he's like, you're like, he's whistling Justice. And that's it. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can live with that. I can live with that. But
I got one
anyway,
on a very nice page there.
yeah, it looks beautiful. I mean, so what's coming is basically Wraith goes to kill Batman, and Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman all face off with him in the Batcave. So it's sort of like the big Batcave destroying event that I've always wanted to do in Batman, but I feel terrible destroying it in Batman. So I was like, I'll just move over here and do it. So it's just the craziest issue, you know, with the penny and the dinosaur, everything, like anything I could use. I was like, nobody's ever been hit with that dinosaur before. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right. So Jim is super up for it, and we're having a blast on it. And that's what's coming, and then really the big finale with Lex, and he has an evil plan where Jimmy plays a really, really big part for the finale. So I couldn't be prouder of it or happier with it, and it's a real honor to get to work with Jim. So thank you guys for picking it up and everything like that. And yeah, I guess that's Superman.
So Jimmy
Unchained,
Olsen
right?
plays a
He
big
does.
part in
Jimmy
the
Olsen you'll see he has like a Lex watch that means everything to the end of the story.
Okay, let's remember that, Jimmy Olsen. Okay, switching gears a little bit, a new title we have coming out in April, Justice League United, written by Jeff. Want to say a little bit about this one?
Yeah, it's a brand new Justice League team, obviously spinning out of Justice League of America after Forever Evil. There's sort of a break in the Justice League universe between the various teams, and some of the characters from the old Justice League of America, Green Arrow and Martian Manhunter, quickly find themselves wrapped up in a new cosmic adventure involving a bunch of new Justice Leaguers like Animal Man and Stargirl, Supergirl, and a new version of Adam Strange and Alana Strange. And it's really my attempt at a really big, fun, high-adventure cosmic superhero book. But you know, a lot of cosmic books, they seem very detached from the regular DC, regular comic book universe. So I really wanted to use the Zeta Beam and Adam Strange as a way of directly connecting Earth to their cosmic adventures and So the team's they're moving to my home country of Canada and setting up shop. And so I'm going to kind of juxtapose these kind of quiet, rural Canadian moments with big cosmic alien battles, and keep them on their toes. And the thing I think I'm most proud about with this book is that we've created a new superhero for the Justice League, a new teenage character who's a First Nations character from a remote, isolated community in Northern Ontario that I've been spending a lot of time in, called Moose Factory, Ontario. And so, trying to create a new superhero and diversify the DC universe a little bit more and bring some new voices and perspectives in. So.
What was the town? The name of the town?
Moose Factory.
Moose Factory.
That's right.
Okay, they named a town Moose Factory.
They certainly did.
All right. Okay. There's the cover of issue 2 with Hawkman and Lobo.
Yeah. Hawkman and Lobo fighting.
All right.
So that maple leaf is sticking in that logo, huh?
Goddamn right it is.
Absolutely.
So Charles,
Yes.
tell us about this rage-filled cat.
Yes,
in
that
Red Lanterns.
that is a hell of a cover, isn't it? So that cat is Dexstar, who is a Red Lantern. Red Lanterns are the angry equivalents to the Green Lanterns. Basically, they can wield their red rings to do all kinds of aggressive, awesome things. One of them is a cat, as you can see there. What's been happening in the book so far is that Guy Gardner, who I'm sure you can see on the cover there somewhere, right? The dude with the awesome mustache? Yeah, there he is. So Guy Gardner joined the team back in issue 21, and his way of doing things didn't exactly jive with the existing leader of the team's way of doing things. He kind of treated the Reds like a cult. Guy is treating it more like a kick-ass biker gang, right? And the guy, the original leader of the team, whose name is
Atrocitus.
Yes, Alessandro.
No, say that closer into the mic. I want everybody to hear this.
Yes, yeah.
Because in Italy, the name of the leader of Red Lanterns is with these pronouns, because the origin of the word is Latin, Roman, and here they pronounce atrocitus.
Atrocitus, yeah, but in Italy.
In Italy is more strong. Atrocitus.
Yep.
In fact,
We were at New York Comic Con last fall, and we, Alessandro was there, and we're having like a lantern summit and talking about the books and stuff like that, and he comes in the room, and we're like, so what do we think we should do with the bad guy? And he's like, you mean, I can't even say it.
atrocitus?
Yeah, yeah. He didn't know what it was. He didn't know who we were talking about. And he's like, do you mean atrocitus, right?
I didn't understand anything.
Yeah, so that was a real watershed moment for all of us, I think, working on the book. Anyway, so the point is that what happened back in 21 is there was a split right away. Atrocitus had to leave, and Guy Gardner's been running the team ever since, like a really cool space biker gang, and all of those, and Atrocitus has been working behind the scenes to kind of like cause a bunch of problems for him and try and take the team back, and all of that's coming to a head with. He's put all these awesome secret plans in motion to try and turn it back into what he thinks it should be, which is kind of like this pseudo-religious rage blood cult, which does not sound as much fun as a sweet biker gang space thing. So now it's really when everything is kind of starting to come to a head, and the cat, who's actually not that big in real life, he's actually just cat-sized, is starting to cause significant problems. And Alessandro, who you probably figured out is the artist on the book, is drawing the hell out of it. Do we have any more interior pages?
Yeah, we got some interiors here.
Okay, yeah, so you can see. That is Bleeze, who ran into some trouble. She's trying to pull herself together a little bit,
And I don't know if everybody knows this one.
Oh, yeah,
Talk about that one a little
So the other cool thing is that a recent addition to the team has been Supergirl, Kara Zor-El, Superman's cousin. She has had some anger issues, and so she basically, the circumstances revolving around her joining the team, basically, if you get really, really mad and a free red ring happens to be floating around the universe, it can find you and turn you into a Red Lantern. So that has happened to Supergirl. She's now on the team. And, it's great because Red Lanterns are very powerful and Kryptonians are very powerful. And so when you put them together, you get this you know, incredibly double super powerful person who also happened to be a 16-year-old girl. So, you know, all of that layered up makes for some incredible fireworks. It also enabled us to include Superman in the issue that just came out this week, which was 29, because basically Guy Gardner immediately is like, I do not want this problem, and tries to give Supergirl back to Superman. And Superman's like, I don't know, which resulted in Supergirl hitting him in the face with an oil tanker. So yeah, but that was you've been wanting to draw Superman for forever, right? So that was a great thing for you, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, Joe, I don't know if you want to talk about like what that was like, or
Yeah, pull the mic up and say it in Italian if you have to. Somebody out there will know Italian.
In this movie. No.
yeah, just like what it was like to draw Superman. I mean, I know you've been wanting to do it forever, and maybe they would want to.
No, he's my favorite character, and it was great to work for a few pages on Red Lanterns, and it was great to change a few the details because I'd like to do a little different for the age from Superman between Supergirl.
Because she's a teenager and he's
Yeah,
a little older.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
It looks amazing. I mean, you did an
thank
incredible
you.
job. So good. That whack with the tanker is worth the issue, worth buying the issue.
So Alessandro has waited his entire life to draw Superman, and the chance he gets is getting Superman hit in the face with an oil tanker.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right,
Which is
so, you know what?
still
Dreams
Superman.
do come true.
Yep, exactly.
All right,
So that's Red
one more
Lanterns.
lantern page.
Oh, yep. That's a new character. One of the other things that we've been doing is, you know, both sides are kind of staffing up their armies for the inevitable battle to come. That is a new character who is called the Judge. That's actually a lady. Believe it or not. She, you know, when I'm not writing comics, I do law work, and so it seems like I'm putting lawyerly stuff in everything now, and so I felt like Red Lanterns were overdue, so now they have the Judge, and she's a lovely lady, as you can see, and she does some really cool things.
That's not based on any judge that you've ever faced, is it?
I would not say that on this panel.
Good. Because we'd have legal problems. Okay,
Yes.
going from red onto green. Jeff, you having fun with Green Arrow?
Yeah, I am. It was never one of my favorite characters growing up or anything, but
Yeah, that's why we gave you the book.
Yeah, exactly. But he's quickly become my favorite character to write. I've had a blast, and I think Andrea Sorrentino, the artist, he's grown incredibly over the course of our run. His layouts are really
there's a great layout.
pretty spectacular and unique and kind of mind-bending, and he really adds a tone and a style to the book that makes it unique, and he's a thrill to work with. So we're currently in the middle of sort of the penultimate storyline since I took over, called The Outsiders War, which Anne actually helped me develop when she was doing Kitana. So Kitana's guest starring in the book now, as well as Shadow and Butcher and a bunch of other cool street-level kind of DC characters who I've always liked. And it's sort of a war between the various weapon clans in the DC universe, the Arrow clan, the Spear clan, etc., finally going to war and revealing this ancient mythology around them that Green Arrow is tied to, but doesn't necessarily want to be tied to. And I guess the big spoiler that happened two months ago was that Green Arrow's father, Robert Queen, who right there, was revealed to be alive and well and involved in this conspiracy. And he and Ollie don't exactly see eye to eye, so that's kind of where we're at. And Green Arrow got shot in the head with an arrow at the end of the last issue, so that's the cliffhanger.
I guess we're done, huh?
Yeah, that's the next issue is just it's just black for 20 pages. So suckers, if you pre-ordered that one, you guys are real suckers. And that's it.
It's still the same price, though.
It's double priced.
Well, now Green Arrow is one of those series that, you know, when it started, it was sort of looking for its way. We tried a few things with it, and then we gave it to a guy who didn't like the character. And
that's what it takes.
And since then, I mean, Jeff is just sort of, like he said, he's pulled a whole mythology into it, built up the whole weapons clan, and then just to top it off, brought back Green Arrow's father. So
yeah, and the other fun thing we've done is one of the characters from the Arrow TV show, John Diggle, who I thought was probably the breakout character on that show. We've brought him into DC continuity as Ollie's partner, and the next arc after the Outsiders War there'll be a lot more Diggle and a new Rogues Gallery created for Ollie because I felt like he needed one. So we're going to see a cool team of villains working together, including Richard Dragon, Count Vertigo, a new version of Red Dart, believe it or not, which is not as lame as it sounds, and I hope Brick and someone else who I'm forgetting. But yeah, so a brand new Rogues Gallery, and it'll be Ollie and Diggle back in Seattle trying to save the city from this group of supervillains. Richard Dragon puts not 1 million, I can't remember the price, but puts a huge bounty on Ollie's head, basically, and all these supervillains come at him at once. So that's a fun storyline.
And if you haven't picked up, if you haven't been reading Green Arrow regularly, the first trade is just out now.
Yep.
So now would be a good time. That would be a good way to catch up. Charles.
Yes.
You took over Swamp Thing.
I did.
After Scott
Who?
had
Who?
had-
No, after Scott.
After Scott had him save the universe.
Yep.
You tried something totally new. How do you follow? How do you follow Scott on Swamp Thing?
Well, you know, Swamp Thing was my very first DC, whereas my first big 2 work at all, you know, before I did anything for Marvel or anything like that. It was the first thing I was asked to do by Mr. Idelson, actually. So thank you for that, you know. Yeah, right. And, you know, I didn't know how long I was going to be on the book. I mean, I knew, you know, first of all, Swamp Thing has been written by, you know, some of the best writers in the business, not just Scott, but, you know, Alan Moore, Brian K. Vaughan, Jess Dysart, you know, Grant Morrison, Mark Miller, Len Wein, Rick Veitch. I know I'm forgetting amazing names. And so I was thrilled to even have the privilege of writing it even for an issue. And I thought, you know, if I only get to do an issue, then I'm just going to swing for the fences as hard as I can and try and write something that, you know, at least to me is going to be worthy of those other names. And so I was very interested in the mythology aspects of Swamp Thing, the idea that he could, you know, he can be all over the world because he's basically a plant god. So he can regrow himself anywhere in the world and have adventures anywhere in the world. And I figured, you know, if that happens, he's going to change his look to adapt whatever the, you know, so if he's in the desert, which is where I set the very first scene, he's going to look like a cactus man, right? Or if he's under the water, he's going to look like a seaweed kelp man. And, you know, that's given the artists on the book the opportunity to draw some really amazing things. And it all just sort of spun from there. And so, you know, for all I knew, I was going to be on for an issue or 2 issues. And so I just thought I'd go really hard. And then I've been on, you know, this is that's the cover for 30, I think. 30. Yeah, so it's...
We forgot to fire you.
Yeah, I know. Shh. So Swamp Thing is, writing it is a dream come true for me. It's a title that I've always really loved. So it's great. To speak more specifically about what's happening here, in issue 29, the issue before what we're seeing here, Swamp Thing, so his job, he's the protector of the plants on Earth, right? He's sort of an environmental guy, you know, he tries to make sure everything's going well. He also ends up having like kind of weird supernatural adventures a lot. It's kind of a partly a horror title and partly a philosophical title. It's a lot of things. It's cool. So in the last issue, he was approached by this group, this cult basically called the Serene, and they were like, you know, we, through history, have been serving Swamp Things just like you and making all of their dreams come true, because when you become a Swamp Thing, you have to give up your human life. You have to leave it behind. And so these Serene people were like, you know, we you know, help you deal with the fact that you've left your human life behind. So like Alec Holland, Swamp Thing, is like, so you like get my mail and, you know, do my taxes and all that stuff. And they're like, no, not exactly. What we can do for you, our biggest thing, is to give you a break from being inside the plant body. We have a ritual by which you can switch out of your body and you can be in a human for a little while, so you can, you know, go to the movies or go on a date or, you know, do what you want to do. So he's like, this sounds amazing. So he kind of jumps on that, performs the ritual, you know, drinks the potion he needs to drink, and then he wakes up a little bit later, coughing up blood with his house on fire in the background and the avatar body gone with the cult disappeared. So he should have done his fact-checking. He should have done his due diligence. He did not.
Sucker.
And so now, basically, the little story we're in right now, called The Gift of the Serene, is about him desperately trying to get his body back because he doesn't know what these people are going to do with it. They're going to freeze it and experiment on it, it sure looks like. You know, he's got to go all over the world to try and chase it back down. This issue has a very cool guest appearance by Vandal Savage.
Oh, that's not Vandal. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's Lady Weeds.
There's Vandal.
Yeah, there's Vandal Savage right there, who I just think is awesome. He's immortal, right? So he's been around since the very beginning. So he's seen everything, he's kind of done everything, and now he's just like, you know what, I'm just going to do, since I've already done everything, from now on I'm only going to do awesome things, and usually they're bad. But, so he comes in, he helps out, sort of, you know, to help Swamp Thing get to the next place where he can hopefully get his body back. If you flip back a page, a slide. Yeah, there you go. So Lady Weeds, there's one of the things that I really wanted to do on this book was bump up the supporting characters as much as I could. And so there are all kinds of crazy cool characters who have shown up. One of whom is Lady Weeds, who used to be a Swamp Thing herself back in the 1800s. She actually caused the potato famine. Just because she felt, I mean, you read the book, you'll see why. But she's been brought back into the world now, and she's, you know, this gal who, you know, she looks great. She could have anything she wants probably, but all she wants is to be, you know, back in a plant body again. So she's a big antagonist. She wants it so badly that she went and got all those tattoos all over herself so that she could at least kind of pretend she was an avatar again, looking in the mirror. The fat dude behind her is the Wolf, who is another ex-Swamp Thing from Germany back in the 1600s, who is kind of like a spider type. He's moving all kinds of pieces behind the scenes. I don't know. So I guess I hope it's coming across that I'm having a blast on this book. It's really, really fun to write and make up these cool characters that do all these weird things, and it all clicks really well. So, you know, because of the able editing by Matt Idelson and the incredible platform given to me by Scott Snyder.
I would just say also, if you're not reading the book, it's one of my favorite reads every month. Charles couldn't be doing a better job on the book. It's like an honor to have worked on it with him doing what he's doing on it now. So please check it out.
Well, thanks.
I disagree.
Disagree.
And you know, we can point out now that Lady Weeds is now legal in Washington State.
Oh, yes. Yes, she is.
That's our formal presentation. We have, okay, we have 5 minutes for a question. I'm sorry. I guess my clock is running a little slow. Okay, we can do one quick question, and then we've got to break for the day. But I want to point out before we ask this question, last year during this panel, the first question was when is Wally West coming to the New 52? And we see that Wally West will be in the New 52 as of April 30th in the Flash Annual. The second question was when is Stephanie Brown coming to the New 52? And as we saw, Stephanie Brown appeared in issue 28 of Batman and is going to be in Batman Eternal.
Yeah, she'll be.
So be very careful what questions you ask, because that's the kind of power Seattle has. We have a microphone there. If you know what, we'll have to choose. Who has a question out there? You shot your hand way up. Really quickly, come to the microphone, give us the one question for the panel. And it's got to be a good one. It can't be like, what's Scott's favorite color? Because this is the one question we have.
It's green. I want to know what Scott's favorite color is, though. My question is, there are a lot of universal truths about characters that we know and love. Martian Manhunter has been referred to as the heart and soul of the Justice League. Wonder Woman is the woman who has love for all beings, etc., etc. Green Arrow is the super liberal hero. How, when you're creating a character, do you stick to that? I feel like there are a lot of these things that we know of that are you know, just kind of blanket statements, but then in the actual characters, sometimes they're missing. So how do you keep a character fresh and new while sticking to here's what for 70 years these people have loved about this character?
Fresh and new, without wrecking the stuff before. Matt, you want to speak to that since you deal with this every day? Jeff.
Oh, thanks.
Well, you know, no, well, think about it. I mean, you did this with Green Arrow, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to be true to you identify what the core concept of each character is and what makes them last for 70 years, in some case 75 years, and then you put them up against things that challenge that constantly, just so that you reaffirm it. But you're constantly trying to introduce new supporting casts, new elements to a mythology to keep it fresh and keep expanding things. But you have to, like you said, you find the vision, you find like the one sentence boiled down version of what Batman is, what Green Arrow is, and you try to always be true to that no matter what they face. That's what I do.
Scott, you want to add something? You've been wrestling with that on Batman.
Well, the one
75 years of
sentence
history.
boiled down thing about Batman is he's awesome. That's it. Batman is win. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the idea is you have to make it personal. So I totally agree with Jeff. Like, you find the thing that's true about the core of the character, and then the trick is to try and find some way of seeing what the character is going through that you're afraid of or that excites you in some way in your own life, something you wrestle with. That's at least for me. So with Batman, what I try and do is sort of think about where Bruce is, or something that I love about his character that's true to the core, like the fact that he never gives up. But then I start to see it, you try and investigate it in a way where you look at it in a personal way where you think, well, there's a part of you know, all of us or of me where I can get incredibly obsessive and self-destructive about things and not let go. And then you start to explore that aspect of the character and build a story around the idea that maybe there's a pathology to that aspect of him too. See, for me, I try and find the thing that's most heroic or the thing I love the most about the character at that moment, whatever aspect of it is, and try and pull out what I really love about it and it connects to a much darker kind of fear I have, and then build a story out of that. So it's both about the character, but it's also something you feel yourself and is experiential to you as a writer. And I feel like that's the only way you avoid doing stuff that's repetitive. Because no matter how original your plot is, I mean, so many of the plots have been done, I think, but you can do a plot that has been done before as long as you make it personal, it's original, it feels original to people.
And that's one of the points of the New 52. Emphasis on the new. There aren't any rules other than Batman is awesome. We're doing things. You know, Jeff brought back Ollie's father. Superman and Wonder Woman are dating. They can make their own nuclear explosion. There's anything can. The beauty of the New 52 is that nothing is set in stone. Anything can happen. Anything can happen with these characters. They can live or they can die at any time. Okay, so just be prepared. But remember, Batman is always awesome. Okay? Thank you all for coming. Thank you, panel.
Intelligence requires us to unlock the most fundamental secrets of the universe.
Intelligent machines will soon allow us to conquer our most intractable challenges.
To develop new methods for the early detection of cancer.
To build a better future for all of us.
Simply put, to save lives.
Once online, its analytical power will be greater than the collective intelligence of every person born in the history of the world.
Professor?
What did you do? Take out the cores.
Revolutionary independence from technology, Rift.
They hit AI labs all over the country.
We're determined to stop any attempt at what you call transcendence.
We're looking at 5 weeks before his system shuts down.
When I'm gone, keep moving forward.
I won't let you go.
We can upload his consciousness. We can save him.
Not like this. If we missed anything, how will you know who you're dealing with? Oh my God.
It's like my mind has been set free. I'm gonna need to expand. I need more power. Get me online.
This is not well. Shut it down.
Shut it down? It's him! Where are you going?
Everywhere.
Your friend, they don't know the danger.
If she connects to the internet, the first thing it'll do is copy itself. And then there is no taking it down. The real will die.
Whatever it is, it's building an army out there.
What is this?
It's evolution.
This isn't evolution. It's an abomination.
What the hell's happening? I'm able to fix them.
This has gone too far, Will. Stop it!
I don't understand. This is the future.
This is not our future. Evelyn! You're not here with me.
You've changed. Have you fallen out of love with me?
No.
Have you?
If we don't stop him, it will be the end of mankind as we know it.